Okay, and on to our second match of our recent league. We're going to lose the die roll. We lost the previous game to Merfolk. We lost the previous match to Merfolk. We're going to keep this hand. It's not amazing, but we have a couple of brainstorms. We have a duress and a therapy and an ad nauseum. So we don't. This hand can go very right very quickly, basically. And even better, our opponent mulligans down to 6 and plays an island. So once again, we're a bit curious as to what is on. Can lead on Delta. We're not doing anything till next turn. Underground Sea makes me think Storm, and Baleful Strix makes me think 4-color control. So we're most likely playing against Czech Pile, which is probably fine. Fire off the Brainstorm, and we probably want to tuck a Brainstorm and a Pedal here. I don't know if we want to just keep cantripping and cantripping. I think we want their next Brainstorm for next turn. And maybe to fire off a duress this turn. The reason we would have wanted to fire off the duress is we have the option of pedal therapy if we feel it's necessary. It also means we've got a bit of extra mana open if our brainstorm's particularly good. But obviously we've just decided to be patient, and he's going to Leovold, so we will brainstorm in response. Might as well get this fired off now. We're fine if our opponent forces that, which they shouldn't. I think from here, actually, we can possibly ad nauseum this coming turn. So how many cards have we got in the bin? We've got 3. We're going to have 4, 5, 6, including the duress and the therapy. So if we duress and therapy this turn, duress puts 4 cards in our graveyard. Therapy will put 5 for Bloodstained Mire, 6 for therapy, and then Lotus Petal to get us black will give us Threshold. We can cast our Cabal Ritual, which can let us ad nauseum, and we'll crack LED for black so that we've got mana floating, because we've already made a land drop this turn. When we're therapy, we're going to take, I think it was a Baleful Strix we saw in his hand. The reason being he's going to draw another card, and if it's a Force of Will, we just want to stop him from being able to use it. We could name Force, but why not just take the Strix? And he just drew another land, so he's about to be in for a bad time. And yeah, ad nauseum from 17 life with 3 black floating it's not a deterministic win, but it's pretty good. We don't need a lot to go right for us from here. Dark Petition, I think, just wins us the game from here. And Past in Flames, just to clinch the deal. So yeah, look. Yeah, call Cabal Ritual for 9, Petition for 10, and that just gets us there. We might go a little bit extra. May have been worth going a bit extra there, just in case we decide just to dry out Force of Wills, but that's fine. Standard Sideboard for Czech pile is a couple of decays. Therapy's handy, and I want an empty. They don't usually run waste, so we're not going to play around that too much. Even if they do, they're a bit on the greedy side, so them wasting is probably does more damage to them than it does to us. We cut a Past in Flames because they have unpleasant amounts of graveyard hate in Deathrite Shaman, Snapcaster, and Surgical Extraction. So our game here, as often as not, is just a fast empty if we can do it. Usually deals with fair decks fairly well, then we just need to play around Marsh Casualties or whatever sweeper they have, and we just want to hope that they basically don't find it in the 1 to 2 turns that we attack in with. However, obviously we want to leave Past in Flames as an option here, and Ad Nauseam remains really good against Czech pile. They're not really good at clocking us. So despite being a deck, normally I don't like Ad Nauseam against decks that potentially play Lightning Bolt. Fortunately these guys play one, and one only, if that, so we don't really care too much. And so yeah, we just want the decays against Leovold more than anything else. I know Leovold is bugged on Magic Online. I just think it's probably A, good practice to have decay in, and B, he cuts us off our cantrips. So there's also an argument to be made for Xantid Swarm here, but it's reasonably likely they will keep in at least a couple of Colligan's commands, just as it kind of remains clunky but relevant against us. Okay, and we have an okay but not amazing keep. We're pretty soft to Thoughtseize Surgical on Tendrils. Ah, cool, and we see a Thoughtseize. So we're at real risk here. Hopefully, okay, he took the Duress. I think maybe the Ponder might have been better, although the fact that he Thoughtseized the Duress probably means he has a Hymn. So we probably want to... I can think of some pretty good reasons to Therapy here for him to Turak, but obviously I missed that line. And there we go, right on time. And he's just taking all our mana at the moment. Fortunately, he hasn't hit the Tendrils. He hasn't hit the discard spell that we just drew. And we still have another land. So one quick note there. The reason we took the Therapy before over the Duress is if he decides to Surgical the Duress. Which has happened to me in the past. That way we still get to keep some interaction for his counter spells. Is he going to him us again? No, he's going to Thoughtseize us again. Okay, great. So this is one of those games that I feel we would probably never win. It's just a start that we can't really deal with. We're a bit on... We're well behind here. There's not much we can do. We currently don't really have a hand. We have a couple of discard spells. He's taken everything else out, and he's now got a Deathrite on the board. So he has... he now has a clock and a way of dealing with our graveyard. So we're going to Duress, just in case we decide we need to take anything else. We'll take the Ponder. We can leave the Toxic Deluge in. I have a feeling Empty the Warrens would have been our best out for this game. Oh, that's a good draw. Would have been our best out for this game because it kind of requires the least storm to win with. So we probably would have needed to deal with Toxic Deluge anyway. However, I think we're fine, and he's probably, yep, second death right. So I don't really see any way to come back from this. I guess maybe brainstorm into Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, or like Dark Ritual LED or something. Make a stack of goblins. So now he's going to snap Thoughtseize. And we're going to lose a... Oh no, snap him. Yeah, okay, we're fucked. I mean, amazingly, we got to keep Tendrils through 3 copies of him to Turak. That's just... and 2 Thoughtseizes. Oh, actually, sorry. 2 hymns, 2 Thoughtseizes. We got to keep our Tendrils through. But yeah, I don't really see us having enough draw steps left to actually come back from this. Yeah, okay, so what are we taking? We're taking 6 a turn. So we can't... Fetching shortens the clock here. So we're in a bit of trouble. And a Nile Spell Bomb, just to make sure we don't have a graveyard. So this seems good. Alright, and an LED right on time. So if we pass the turn, we take 10, there's 10 on board. So 4 damage from the 2 Deathrite Shamans untap, and, oh no, sorry, it's only 2 damage. So we can actually fetch now, which is nice. But we just really don't have a way out from here. And he's cantripping like crazy. I don't really know what for. I guess maybe another Hymn to Turak or something, just to make sure that it's not possible for us to come back. I guess it is still technically possible for us to win from here, even if it would be pretty hard. Alright, and we draw a Past in Flames. So if he doesn't use Deathrite Shaman and he doesn't crack Spellbomb, we can do this. Maybe. Probably not. Alright. I think, yeah, it's right. I don't think it's right to bring in Xantid Swarm here. The him-based decks have less stack interaction. So I'm wondering if for the next league I cut Xantid Swarm. Oh, I brought it in. Okay, I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I just think it's very bad against the him-based versions of Czech pile, given their interaction is normally just something like 4 copies of Force of Will. We'll keep this. It's not amazing, but we have Probe, a Brainstorm, and we have some Rituals, so we don't need a huge amount to go right for us here. And our opponent has no threats, which is good for us. A couple of Brainstorms. And they have a him, but no second black source. They're only... And they have, what, a Force and a Hydroblast. So I guess they're not really doing much. So we're going to Brainstorm here. And they're going to wish that they had a Pyroblast instead. And I think we're going to put back, yeah, Tendrils and LED, and probably fetching... I don't know whether or not we should be trying to bet on them not finding a second black source. Because if that happens, we risk losing our only black source. Anyway, on the flip side, if we resolve Xantid Swarm, he has even less relevant cards than he had before. So he's going to force it. And, okay, so we drew a Baleful Strix last turn, so we now know his entire hand. So 2 Brainstorms, a Hydroblast, a him, and a Trop. Question is, will he... Yep, okay, so he'll probably Brainstorm now to find his second black source so he can him us. And fortunately he misses, so we're pretty happy with that. We're less happy with the duress that we just drew. However, we should probably fire it off and take either his Brainstorm or his him. I think probably Brainstorm if he doesn't Brainstorm in response. So I think he does here, from memory, and I think he should. So he's taking his time to think about this one. I guess we'll find out what's in his hand in a second. Okay, so we tucked his him to Turak back on top before. So we'll take Force of Will so we can hopefully go off. Oh no, we got a second duress. Okay, so I think we take the Ponder, as it sees the most cards here, I think, because he's got a him on top. So if he brainstorms end of turn, he only sees 2 new cards. Okay, no, we took brainstorm. That seems okay. I mean, his hand is kind of crap against us at the moment, so... And I wonder if maybe he should have played Snap there just to, Okay, he's going to Ponder, and I guess he'll probably... So he needs to find a fetch or a black source. And fortunately for us, he whiffs, which means he's now just... okay, so we can brainstorm here. And what we're going to do is we'll put back an LED and a Dark Ritual. And if we resolve Dark Ritual this turn, we win. And if we don't, and he forces it, we draw a Dark Ritual and we do it again next turn. Unless he can... No, because he can't find another black source. So we'll take the Force, because that's the only relevant card. The Hydroblast is an interesting one here. It's a strange one to sideboard against Storm, given it only has 1 real target. And it doesn't really cut us off our other win cons. Now from here we can go for Empty the Warrants. We can shoot her into... So how much mana do we have? We have 6, 9. Alright, I think Ad Nauseam is the correct line here. We still have a land drop and we'll be able to do it with a black and a blue open. From 16 life, which is... in this particular situation is plenty. And we're just going to see why the Hydroblast is kind of pointless here. As we draw hopefully 15 cards or something similar. Okay, and we basically now have enough mana just to kill him. We can just repeat what we did before, which is Ritual into LED into Business, with the Business piece this time just being Tendrils. Yep, and we get the match.